You never know whose life you might change with a single act of kindness. The story begins on a cold, rainy evening in New York City. The subway was crowded, the air thick with the smell of wet coats and impatience. Among the passengers sat Ethan Walker, a 32-year-old single dad wearing a worn-out jacket, holding a small paper bag with 2 sandwiches inside, one for himself, and one for his little daughter, Lily. He had just finished a long day at the construction site, tired but smiling, because every day he got to go home to the person who made his life worth living. Ethan wasn't rich, but he was rich in love. After his wife passed away during childbirth 5 years ago, he promised Lily he'd be both her mom and dad. Every night, he'd tell her stories about angels and bravery, stories that gave her hope even when their small apartment walls felt like they were closing in. That evening, fate decided to test him again. As the subway rumbled through the tunnel, a woman in an elegant coat stumbled in, clutching her belly. Her face was pale, and her eyes were wide with fear. She looked like she belonged to another world, the world of expensive handbags and private cars, not this crowded underground train. She tried to speak, but only a cry escaped her lips. "It's coming, the baby, it's coming now." The passengers froze. Panic spread like wildfire. People backed away, pulling out their phones, recording instead of helping. Ethan didn't think twice. He ran toward her. "Ma'am, it's okay. I've got you," he said, his calm voice cutting through the chaos. He remembered the day his wife went into labor, the fear, the helplessness, the miracle. He knew what to do. He laid the woman gently on the floor as the train screeched to a stop between stations. "What's your name?" he asked. "Olivia," she gasped. "Okay, Olivia. I need you to breathe with me. In and out. You're doing amazing." While others shouted for help, Ethan used his jacket as a pillow, his scarf as a blanket, and guided her through the delivery, holding her hand through every scream, every tear, until, after what felt like forever, the soft cry of a newborn filled the subway car. The passengers clapped, some cried. Ethan held the baby carefully and smiled. "It's a girl," he whispered. Olivia sobbed, thanking him again and again as paramedics finally arrived. Before they took her away, she grabbed his hand. "Please, tell me your name." "Ethan," he said softly. "Just Ethan." A week passed. Life went back to normal for Ethan, or as normal as it could be. He still took Lily to school, still worked double shifts, still came home to the sound of laughter in a tiny apartment. He never thought he'd see Olivia again. Until one morning, he was called into the office at work. His supervisor said, "You've been requested at the corporate tower downtown, they're looking for you by name." Confused but curious, Ethan went. The elevator doors opened to the top floor, a place that didn't smell like sweat and dust, but like success. The receptionist smiled. "Mr. Walker, the CEO is expecting you." He stepped into a massive office, walls of glass overlooking the city. Behind the desk stood a man in a tailored suit, Alexander Hayes, one of the most powerful CEOs in New York. And beside him, Olivia. She looked radiant, holding her baby, smiling the kind of smile that could melt stone. "Ethan," she said softly, tears in her eyes, "this is the man who saved my life and my daughter's." Alexander walked toward Ethan and shook his hand firmly. "I've heard everything. My wife told me how you didn't hesitate when everyone else froze. We owe you everything." Ethan felt awkward, standing there in his work boots and faded jeans. "I just did what anyone should have done," he said humbly. But Alexander shook his head. "No. Not everyone would. You acted out of pure kindness." Then Olivia added something that changed Ethan's life forever. "You said you worked in construction?" Alexander's company just launched a housing development project. "We'd like you to be part of it as the site manager. Full benefits, higher pay, and stability for your daughter." Ethan's eyes widened. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Olivia smiled through tears. "Because good people deserve good things." Months passed. Ethan's life transformed. He could finally move Lily into a better neighborhood, a good school, a warm home. Every weekend, Olivia and Alexander visited with their baby, often bringing gifts for Lily. What began as a chance encounter became a bond of friendship built on gratitude, empathy, and shared humanity. One evening, as Ethan watched Lily playing in their new living room, he whispered, "See, sweetheart, kindness always comes back, even when you least expect it." She hugged him tightly. "Like an angel's reward?" He smiled. "Exactly." At the end of the story, the narrator's voice fades in. Sometimes, life puts us in someone's path for a reason. A single moment of courage, a simple act of kindness, can change everything, not just for others, but for ourselves too.